Okay, this video is about ions and how they are formed. What you will need to be able to do is to figure out the number of protons and electrons in an ion. So first of all, an ion is an atom that has gained or lost one or more electrons. So I'm going to show you how that works. Okay, so lithium, if you remember from previously, lithium has 3 protons. Let me change colors here. Let's go to the blue here. Okay, so lithium has 3 protons, all right, or 3 positive charges in a neutral atom. Okay, now lithium also has 3 electrons, which are negative, in an atom. Atoms are neutral. The positives cancel out the negatives. 3 positives cancel out 3 negatives. Now, lithium is a metal, and metals are losers. That means they lose electrons. All right, now, anyway, lithium, if it forms an ion, it becomes a positive 1 ion. The protons never change. Protons never change. So it's still 3 positive. But if you look, lithium has a net of 1 positive charge. That means it must have lost 1 electron, because then if it loses 1, normally it has 3, but if it loses 1, then it only has 2. And if you look at the positives and the negatives, 3 positive charges from the protons, 2 negatives from the electrons in the ion, gives you a net of 1 positive charge, which matches the charge on the ion. Okay? If you add together the protons, which are positive, and the electrons that are negative, if you add those together, the total charges have to match the charge on the ion. Okay, let's look at a negative ion like oxygen, but let's start with the atom first. Oxygen has 8 protons because it's atomic number 8, so 8 positive charges. The atom oxygen also has 8 electrons. Alright, so 8 positives, 8 negatives, that makes a neutral atom. Now, when oxygen becomes an ion, the protons don't change. Protons never change. 8 positive charges. But now what this is saying right here, that the oxygen ion has 2 more negative charges. It has 2 more negative charges than positive. So what's 2 more than 8? 10. So if you just do a little math, 8 positives plus 10 negatives gives you a net of 2 negative charges, which matches the charge on the ion. Alright? Okay, let's try a couple more. Magnesium, the atom, it has 12 protons, 12 electrons, because, 12 negative charges, because it's atomic number 12. Alright? Now, if you go over here, we have magnesium 2 plus, it still has 12 protons. Protons don't change. But this is saying it has 2 more positive charges than negative charges. 2 more positive charges. So that means it has 10 negative charges. And if you do the math, 12 positive, 10 negative, that's 2 positive charges. So magnesium, which is a metal, metals are losers, it must have lost 2 electrons from when it was a neutral atom, because it did have 12, now it only has 10 when it's an ion. It lost 2. Okay, let's do manganese. Okay, manganese is number 25. So it has 25 positives, 25 negatives when it's a neutral atom. Okay, but when it becomes an ion, the protons don't change, 25 plus charges, but this is saying it has 3 more positive charges than negative charges. It has 3 more positives. Okay, that must mean that it has only 22 negative charges in an atom, because 25 positives, 22 negatives gives a net of 3 positive charges. Okay, so manganese must have lost 3 electrons, because it did have 25, now it has 22, giving it a net of 3 positive charges. Okay, let's just try a couple more. Oh, that's the answer key for that. Alright, so let's do nitrogen here. Nitrogen, the neutral atom, it has 7 protons, 7 electrons. The atom. The ion, the protons don't change, but this is saying it has 3 more negative charges. So that means that then positive. So that means it has 10. 3 more negative charges. So the net, 10 negative and 7 positive, is 3 negative, which matches the ion. Nitrogen gained 3 electrons. Let's do boron. Okay, boron is number 5, atomic number 5, so it has 5 protons, 5 electrons. Okay, now let's see, boron becomes positive 3. Protons don't change. Okay, so it has 5 positives, and then, so this is saying it has 3 more positives than negatives. It's plus 3. That means it only has 2 electrons, giving you a net of plus 3. 5 positive, 2 negative, plus 3. Boron is a metal. It lost 3 electrons. Okay, what I want you to do now is to pause the video and figure out the protons and electrons in these ions down here. Then restart the video and check your work. So pause the video now. Okay, bromine is atomic number 35. Okay, and that means it has 35 positive charges. This charge up here is saying bromine has 1 more negative than positive, so it has 36 negatives for a net of 1 minus. Aluminum, protons and electron. So this is the aluminum ion. Aluminum has 13 protons, but this is saying it has 3 more positives than negatives. 3 more positives. So it only has 10 negatives because the net has to be 3 plus, which matches the ion. Sulfur, protons and electrons. Actually, this is called sulfide when it becomes an ion. But anyway, sulfur has 16 positive charges. This is saying it has 2 more negatives than positives. So that's 18, because it's 2 more negatives than positive negatives. And so that gives you a net of 2 negative. Okay, iron with a charge of 2 plus, so protons, electrons. So you look up iron on the periodic table. It's atomic number 26. That's the number of protons, or positive charges. This is saying it has 2 more positives than negatives. 2 more positives, so the negatives. So 26, that means it has 24 electrons, which are negative. And if you do the math, 26 positive, 24 negative, gives you net of 2 positives. That matches the ion. Alright, that's it for this video.